Hello dear friend, and welcome to On This Day SMR with me, Edward Hertz, where we take a look back through history at events which took place on this day. The rain is gently pittering and pattering away on the window, and the fire is crackling away nicely in the hearth. So put your headphones on, sit back, relax, and let me take you on a journey back through time. Today is Thursday, the 1st of February 2024, and we have 51 events to cover, going all the way back to the year 1327. Starting with the most recent event which happened 2 years ago in 2022. 5-year-old Moroccan boy Ryan Aram falls into a 32-metre, 105 feet, deep well in Igran village in Tamarat commune, Chefchaouen province, Morocco, but dies 4 days later before rescue workers reached him. 3 years ago in 2021, a coup d'etat in Myanmar removes Aung San Suu Kyi from power and restores military rule. 11 years ago in 2013, the Shard, the 6th tallest building in Europe, opens its viewing gallery to the public. 12 years ago in 2012, 74 people are killed and over 500 injured as a result of clashes between fans of Egyptian football teams Al Masry and Al Ahly in the city of Port Said. 15 years ago in 2009, the first cabinet of Johanna Sigurdardóttir was formed in Iceland, making her the country's first female prime minister and the world's first openly gay head of government. 17 years ago in 2007, the National Weather Service in the United States switches from the Fujita scale to the new enhanced Fujita scale to measure the intensity and strength of tornadoes. "19 years ago in 2005, King Jayanendra of Nepal carries out a coup d'etat to capture the democracy, becoming chairman of the councils of ministers. 20 years ago in 2004, Hajj pilgrimage stampede. In a stampede at the Hajj pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia, 251 people are trampled to death and 244 injured. In the same year, double suicide attack in Erbil on the officers of Iraqi Kurdish political parties by members of Jamaat al-Tawhid wal Jihad. 21 years ago in 2003, Space Shuttle Columbia disintegrated during the re-entry of mission STS-107 into the Earth's atmosphere, killing all 7 astronauts aboard. 22 years ago in 2002, Daniel Pearl, American journalist and South Asia bureau chief of the Wall Street Journal, kidnapped on January the 23rd, is beheaded and mutilated by his captors. 26 years ago in 1998, Rear Admiral Lillian E. Fishburne becomes the first female African American to be promoted to Rear Admiral. 28 years ago in 1996, the Communications Decency Act is passed by the US Congress. 32 years ago in 1992, the Chief Judicial Magistrate of Bhopal Court declares Warren Anderson, ex-CEO of Union Carbide, a fugitive under Indian law for failing to appear in the Bhopal disaster case. 33 years ago in 1991, a runway collision between US Air Flight 1493 and SkyWest Flight 5569 at Los Angeles International Airport results in the deaths of 34 people and injuries to 30 others. 43 years ago in 1981, the underarm bowling incident of 1981 occurred when Trevor Chappell bowls underarm on the final delivery of a game between Australia and New Zealand at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, MCG. "45 years ago in 1979, Iranian Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini returns to Tehran after nearly 15 years of exile. 50 years ago in 1974, a fire in this 25-story Joma building in Sao Paulo, Brazil, kills 189 and injures 293. 52 years ago in 1972, Kuala Lumpur becomes a city by a royal charter granted by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong of Malaysia. 56 years ago in 1968, in the Vietnam War, the execution of Viet Cong officer Nguyen Van Lem by South Vietnamese National Police Chief Nguyen Ngoc Loan is recorded on motion picture film, as well as in an iconic still photograph taken by Eddie Adams. In the same year, Canada's three military services, the Royal Canadian Navy, the Canadian Army and the Royal Canadian Air Force, are unified into the Canadian Forces. In the same year again, the New York Central Railroad and the Pennsylvania Railroad are merged to form Penn Central Transportation. 60 years ago in 1964, the Beatles have their first #1 hit in the United States with I Want to Hold Your Hand. 64 years ago in 1960, 4 black students staged the first of the Greensboro sit-ins at a lunch counter in Greensboro, North Carolina. 67 years ago in 1957, Northeast Airlines Flight 823 crashes on Rikers Island in New York City, killing 20 people and injuring 78 others. 74 years ago in 1950, the first prototype of the MiG-17 makes its maiden flight. 78 years ago in 1946, Trygve Lie of Norway is picked to be the first United Nations Secretary General. In the same year, the Parliament of Hungary abolishes the monarchy after 9 centuries and proclaims the Hungarian Republic. 82 years ago in 1942, in World War II, Joseph Terboven, Reichskommissar of German-occupied Norway, appoints Vidkun Quisling the Minister-President of the national government. In the same year, also in World War II, US Navy conducts Marshall's Gilbert's raids, the first offensive action by the United States against Japanese forces in the Pacific Theater. Also in 1942, Voice of America, the official external radio and television service of the United States government, begins broadcasting with programs aimed at areas controlled by the Axis powers. Once again in 1942, Mao Zedong makes a speech on reform in learning, the party and literature, which puts into motion the Yan'an rectification movement. 100 years ago in 1924, Russia-United Kingdom relations are restored over 6 years after the Communist Revolution. 116 years ago in 1908, in the Lisbon Regicide, King Carlos I of Portugal and Infant Luis Felipe are shot dead in Lisbon. "124 years ago in the year 1900, Great Britain, defeated by Boers in key battles, names Lord Roberts commander of British forces in South Africa." 127 years ago in 1897, Shinhan Bank, the oldest bank in South Korea, opens in Seoul. 128 years ago in 1896, La Bohème premieres in Turin at the Teatro Regio, conducted by the young Arturo Toscanini. 129 years ago in 1895, Fountains Valley, Pretoria, the oldest nature reserve in Africa, is proclaimed by President Paul Kruger. 131 years ago in 1893, Thomas A. Edison finishes construction of the first motion picture studio, the Black Maria, in West Orange, New Jersey. 140 years ago in 1884, the first volume, A to Ant, of the Oxford English Dictionary is published. 159 years ago in 1865, President Abraham Lincoln signs the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution. 160 years ago in 1864, in the Second Schleswig War, Prussian forces crossed the border into Schleswig, starting the war. 163 years ago in 1861, in the American Civil War, Texas secedes from the United States and joins a confederacy a week later. 139 years ago in 1835, slavery is abolished in Mauritius. 210 years ago in 1814, Mayon in the Philippines erupts, killing around 1,200 people, the most devastating eruption of the volcano. 228 years ago in 1796, the capital of Upper Canada is moved from Newark to York. 231 years ago in 1793, in the French Revolutionary Wars, France declares war on the United Kingdom and the Netherlands. 311 years ago in 1713, the Kalabalik or skirmish at Bender results from the Ottoman Sultan's order that his unwelcome guest, King Charles XII of Sweden, be seized. 362 years ago in 1662, the Chinese general Koxinga seizes the island of Taiwan after a 9-month siege. 613 years ago in 1411, the first Peace of Thorn is signed in Thorn, Torun, monastic state of the Teutonic Knights, Prussia. 697 years ago in 1327, the teenaged Edward III is crowned King of England, but the country is ruled by his mother, Queen Isabella, and her lover, Roger Mortimer. So that is all we have for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you found our little trip back through history both relaxing and informative. If you did indeed like the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and also consider leaving a comment below. All feedback is very much welcome. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. It will really help the channel grow and will ensure that you are notified of future videos. Be sure to turn on notifications so that you are notified of future videos as soon as they are posted. Thank you again, and I hope to see you next time.